Jeannie, welcome to this conversation for InnEdCO. Thank you for being here. Can you start by telling me a little bit about who you are and where you work for your real job?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm just so excited to be in this conversation. So yeah, Jeannie Sponheim, let's see. And my role is I am our district's digital learning specialist. And there's one of me and
Wow.
about 1,300 really fabulous educating staff in our district. And I love my job.
So can you tell us a little bit about short cycle innovation and what it might mean for the educator who in April is wondering how they might have the energy to still try new things and continue to get better even in these last 7 or 8 weeks of school?
I am just to have an opportunity to talk about short cycle innovation, and it's really short cycle informed innovation informed by our digital teaching and learning tools. And a favorite aspect is it's this teeny tiny quick process I can do by myself, with my team, with my building. Heck, a whole district could do it. But really, Liz, the 5 steps are, and you're going to recognize these. It's basic teaching and learning. Plan, do, check, adjust stuff. And if you've got cognitive coaches in your building, they're going to recognize elements of the mediating, thinking conversation. And the 5 steps, just really briefly, are, you start with the student learning outcome. I mean, because that's what we start everything with in education. Right. And I'm talking social, emotional, academic, whatever the student learning outcome is relevant here. And then it's that typical designing the teaching and learning experience. What information do I have about the students I'm serving? And here's where it gets a little short cycle informed innovation. What digital teaching and learning tool am I planning on implementing? One of the things we know that technology does for us is it elevates whatever is going on. And so once we've identified the student teaching learning outcome, and we've kind of thought some about, what we know about our students and what the teaching and learning activity might look like and what digital tool we might be integrating. Because it's digital, well, the question is, what can we elevate from it?
Oh, nice. I love that.
What can we elevate? And so here, and I'm going to pause the steps, and I'm just going to give this example because it's timely.
Yeah, please. I was just going to ask for one.
Thank you. Let's take the most bare bones tool I can think of right now, which is Google Voice Typing.
Okay.
Super duper basic, right? So let's say I'm engaging my students in a learning conversation. It might even be a Socratic seminar. Whatever conversation structure might be appropriate, okay? If I simply take the 2-step process of opening a Google Doc and turning on the voice typing feature, and I can even let my kids know, hey, we're going to do this. Turn it on, engage in the conversation, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. Length is completely beside the point. And then post-conversation. Now, I could do this myself as a practitioner. Even more powerful, maybe, if I do it with my kids, right? With each learner. Hey, let's look at our conversation. Now, we know that Google Voice Typing is not going to be 100% accurate, but it's going to kind of be around 90% accurate. Gosh, guys, what do we notice about our conversation? Did we use our key vocabulary? Whatever kinds of growth questions we can ask. Okay, and so what we've really done is already jumped to the 3rd step of short cycle informed innovation, which is to engage, right? We've engaged in the teaching and learning activity, and then we've even really done the 4th step, which is to go back and look at what the technology that we chose to use during our teaching and learning activity, what did it elevate for us? And then that's where we're at that 5th and magical step. And it can be the tiniest little step, and it can happen in 2 seconds. What's my pivot? You know what? Maybe my students needed a key vocabulary exercise before we engaged in this conversation. Maybe people needed a rubric or an exemplar. And so Liz, I'm using this SCI. I call it SCI because it's education, and we absolutely need another acronym. or it wouldn't be a thing if it didn't have it. The magic of it is that it's so short and subtle, you almost don't feel like you're doing it. And comments that I get from staff they range from, Liz, Jeannie, I thought I was doing this, but I was not doing this.
Oh,
right?
That awareness.
Raising awareness to, just a variety of ahas to, I'm going to use this every time. This is so easy. And we like to collaborate as educators, and we put on our smiles and we roll up our sleeves together. But the art of teaching students is both personal and collaborative, just like it's an art and a science. And I think one of the appealing things about Sci, I'm not going to say it discourages collaboration. It certainly doesn't discourage collaboration. It gives you tools with which you can collaborate more. But if you want to do a half an hour thing just yourself and process through something, gosh, you can.
Yeah. So it feels bite-sized. It feels doable, especially right now at this time when the world may seem like kind of a lot. It feels like something that is within our control that we can try even just in one class period and get the results of and see right there.
Yeah, you can do it in 15 minutes. And not only can you see the results as a practitioner, but you can let your kids see, oh gosh, we thought we were really paying attention, but it turns out, maybe we were. We came up with a great innovation, or, oh gosh. I think about growth mindset in Carol Dweck and how we're only as stuck as we think we are, and we'll get, that power of yet. To me, this is a strategy for taking my practice where I want it to go. We're all in it for the kids. But if I'm drowning, I can't serve them well. But if I've given myself a boogie board, or I guess it's winter now, so let's say a snowboard.
Some way to float.
Right. I can navigate those moguls, right? I can navigate my way through and feel like I'm doing a really great thing for not only my practice, but each of my kids. That's why we're all here.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I think one of the key things between that I have noticed this year in students and staff who seem like they have found that boogie board or have found that snowboard, versus those who seem like this year has just weighed on them a little more heavily, is that sense of efficacy, that sense that, wait, I can do some of this. But what I love about what you've been talking about is this Sci process then helps us also to help students develop that sense of who they are as learners and equip them better for whatever other changes might be in the future.
I think where the greatest benefit of using Sci is when practitioners partner with their students as learners. It doesn't mean kids are designing the learning activities. Of course, the teaching professional is looking at, formative data and, pre-assessments and thinking about all. That's all of that still needs to happen. But then during the execution, when the student learner sees the teacher also as a learner, and together they are looking at the video, looking at the Google Voice doc that was typed up, whatever we were able to elevate using that digital teaching and learning tool. That's where that's the magic. That's where the magic happens.
So I think one potential barrier that people could see is, I have enough to do anyway. How is it that I make time for this? This sort of recap and this debrief of the data. How do I make time for that reflection with my students in my class when it's not like I'm sitting around eating bonbons with them? We have work to do anyway. What have you found that has been maybe the payoff of doing this, or how have you found teachers making that time and then reaping the benefits?
When I press record or I turn on voice, my students see it and know that I'm doing it, they help me hold myself accountable for our group debrief.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you build in that partnership.
Yeah. We can actually leverage the information that digital teaching and learning tools can offer up to us to conduct our own authentic, very valid research.
That is phenomenal.
Right, and make wonderful ideas like growth mindset actually, well, be actualized, be actionable.
For sure.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful. You know, Jeannie, I can imagine that some teachers like me have a sort of a preference around visual learning. Do you have some tools that you could share with me, maybe a graphic sort of outlining this process, or anything that you could share with me that I could then share on with the community who may have watched this?
Delighted to. I have a SCI info sheet. It's 2 pages. One is a graphic organized, is not really a graphic organizer, but a graphic with just the 5 steps, really brief. And actually, most of the second page I'm going to tell you is the research it's based on.
Well, that's valuable too. I mean, I know a lot of people need to see that to know that it's worthwhile. I'm delighted that you invited me to share that again, and I absolutely will. And I said that word research, and another big influencer, and I'll just be really brief, but The Power of Money by the Heath brothers. Oh, nice. Yes. Chip in hand.
Right, it's that blue book with the mason jar on the front.
Yep, absolutely.
And you know, that chapter where they talk about, putting the yellow chalk everywhere in the village where people were using restrooms was that moment of, oh, we really are really covered in it, and we really do need a sanitation system.
Yes.
This for me and for the teachers I've been working with this year and last year, it has been the power of SCI. It's equivalent to that yellow chalk. Oh, I can see it now. And
yes, it makes the invisible
and I see
visible.
where this tiny tweak, and I don't have to schedule a meeting for it, and I don't have to have 10 emails back and forth that I don't have time for. It reveals that tiny tweak in the moment, and I can get on with my teaching and learning life.
That is brilliant. Wow, Jeannie, I am so grateful that you took the time to chat with us today. Your brilliance, as ever, is inspiring, and I really appreciate the language of grace with which you speak about the complexities of teaching and learning, because this is not an easy profession. My personal belief is that it's the best profession out there, but I still know that it is not easy, and this year has been a hard one for people everywhere in every profession. And teaching has not been immune from that. So I appreciate you bringing forward this idea of short cycle innovation, which re-empowers us, even in these last weeks of school, to do great things with our kids.
Well, it's an honor to talk about. It wouldn't be it without all the collaboration in creating, and all the collaboration in refining, and all the wonderful educators who have said, yeah, I'll take a moment to try this. So.
I love that sense of bravery that we have, that courage that we have as educators to, in spite of the circumstances, continue to try new things that will benefit our kids.
Yeah. Well,
kudos to all of them.
Yes.
And thank you to you for taking this opportunity to be with us.